Of course, the sound was gone. Thank you very much for reminding me about that thing again. Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's new stream in which I started off again without a sound, but everything should be fine right now. All right? Can you hear me well? Is the music too loud? Everything is right? Let's see. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you have to excuse me for a second. I just have to set up some other things. I'm just kind of still new with this YouTube channel streaming. I still haven't really set up everything just right. All right, that's fine. All right, let me just move the music to the side. Is the music too loud or is it okay? Okay. I swear, once we get everything sorted out, I guess this is going to be the last time I'm asking you guys everything is fine, but I just have to make sure that I'm not being overlapped by the music, that the sound is working, and pretty much everything else is fine. Okay, enough watching that screen, that should be fine. Just move this to the side. All right, that should work now, I guess. That's almost fine. All right. All right, we can start now. Like I said, welcome back. This is basically where we stopped at the previous stream. We started making, well, basically not just started making, but we made all the covers for our bar walls that are just where this thing is supposed to have all of these walls, which is more or less what we wanted to. But I'm going to hide this thing, and we started working on the interior for the seating. So we started off with this thing. I do have one thing that's missing here for some reason, but all right, we'll fix it up. Anyways, this, like I said, this is where we stopped in the previous video. So let's continue on from here. Just gonna isolate that thing. Don't do anything else. Just select this as it is. I have this thing going around. Do I have the buttons? No, yeah, the buttons. The buttons, when we created them last time, and I tried to go back, it kind of screwed up Max and it crashed. So yeah, just make these bigger a bit. 150 still. That's fine. Come on, there we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna have to manually move this, manually move these like this, because if I go and copy them multiple times, for some reason, not all of them are at the same distance, which makes no sense whatsoever, since it's just connected at the same number, but whatever. We just do it this way. There we go. I got all the buttons here. Like that. You know, just isolate these, make them just one, so they have to deal with all the spheres, all the buttons. Alright, undo it. Ah, god damn it. Fine, I just had everything else. There, now this is the only thing that's visible. Okay, so we have this thing. It should come on this side as well. By the way, let me just open up the reference to that thing. There we go. Now it's here. Reference images, not a good bar. So this one? Yeah, this one. Yeah, that's fine. Later on I can just refine it so we get a bit more of a disturbed So far it looks too perfect, but fine, that's easy to fix. Alright, so here I just need to get to the edge, give it a bit of a seam, interior seam. Alright, that's a quick thing to do. So just get to the edge, edit poly on top of this thing, isolate this thing, and just shoot it with a extrude. You can give it a bit of a width, a very small amount, and put it to the interior like that, and just move it inwards, like so. So now when we put another turbo smooth, it should give us something like this. If it's too sharp, let's see what this is. If this is too sharp, like it is at the moment, what I can do is come back in here, select the edges that we got on the top, just make sure that you select everything so it goes all the way. Cheers, Adam. Hopefully you learn more. Believe it or not, I learned some of the things that I taught you guys when I was making those classes. So it's a double-edged sword. I learned something, you learned something. It's a great thing. So let's chamfer this a very small amount. The reason for chamfering these edges is just so we have an extra bit of geometry to hold that form. So now once we put on the turbo smooth, yeah, you see, we get a very defined cut in there, similar to what we have over here. If we're going to be very anal about this, what we can do is go in here, put a spline, and now we just want to move it outwards on all sides, so we can just put a push modifier on that line, something like that. Put an edge poly on top of it so we can continue working. And with a turbo smooth, now we get that puffiness around the edges. Just so we don't have to do it on the other side, what I can do is come back here. Let's just select which side of this. That one. So this is the half that we want. This is the half that we don't want, so we delete that one. Then we drop the symmetry, going on the z-axis. So now when we turn on the turbo smooth, this thing should have that cut on this side as well. All right, great. Okay, so let me just quickly check this thing. I can see that this edge is a bit more rounded, which kind of means that I should probably lessen the tension here. So below the symmetry, just select this entire line. Constrain edge so we don't screw up the form. Move it this way. Move it in Y, like that. And now for this thing, let's see how this thing is going to look like. Yeah, it's not so sharp now. Now it's a more mild version of that. But if we want to even lessen that effect, just remove the constraint on the corner one, and just move it inwards like that. There we go. In case you're wondering how you can move this thing and actually see the end result for the turbo smooth, I have the show end result button pressed on, and I have this button show gauge. The show gauge will show you the underlying low poly model, and with the open or the show end result button on, it will show you all of the modifiers that you have in your modifier stack. So if you turn off or turn on the turbo smooth, you're going to see everything in there. So turn on the symmetry, and boom, we have that seating done. And let me just see if everything is fine over here. It does seem like it has a bit of a bump over here, but we have that bump. This thing looks a bit flat on the top, so I might be wrong, but I'll just do it this way. Select all of those, slightly move them up. There, this should give us that rounded look. There you go. A very, very slight move, but it's not flat, so it's not gonna feel like you're sitting on a plank or something. All right, so now this thing is done. Let's give it a different color. Plus unwrapping of these things is gonna be easy, so that's a plus. Move it to this side, an instance. Now go center to center. Delete this one. All right, that's a good holder. Now select all of it. Mirror on the y-axis as a copy and move it over here like that. All right, so delete the blue ones. All right, that's good. We can work with that. Now let's see how this other thing is made. So pretty much it's the same thing. I wonder though, instead of going in and actually modeling this by hand, let me see if I can cheat, because cheating is what I love doing. So before I start cheating on anything, I'm gonna save, because why not? So for the cheating part, I'm actually gonna make a copy out of this thing here. Rotate it 90 degrees. Now, turn off the turbo smooth, because nobody likes turbo smooth when they're cheating. Now, effect pivot only. Move the pivot to about here. I want to make sure it's right at this point, because after this point, this thing is gonna be at the end. And what I'm trying to do is put a symmetry on the Z. Yeah, Z. And this is gonna make it a longer version. Now the reason for making this, you know, Adam, you're actually the second guy who's asking, well, not actually the second, but in the YouTube channel, the comments, I've had a bunch of people ask me stuff about post-processing. So if everybody is really that interested in about post-processing, sure, I can make a video tutorial about it, but you're gonna have to be more precise as to what sort of a post-processing, because post-processing in its own, it's a very, very large theme, and it really varies from one to another. Like it depends on the topic that you're covering. You know? Now, let me see before I screw up anything else. Now, what I want to do is I want to have this bend over here. So let's see if I can actually go and cheat with an actual bend modifier. So for the angle, I'm going to need a 90 bend. But instead of having the balloon more, this is 90. Why is it not 90? 90, but move the gizmo. Really? The music is too loud, or am I too? The music is at 5%. Oh snap, hold on. Okay, let me increase my speakers so I can actually hear it better. Is the music better now? All right. I guess that did it. Now let's just see how many is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Yep. This is gonna work. So put it all here. Ooh, actually, before I do that, I just copy it here once. And now turn on the bend. Edit poly on top of the bend. Select everything that I don't actually need. Oh, snap, you're a carpenter? Do you have a website or something so we can see what you're doing? So put it one more time. So cap this, go across. Connect those. Oh snap. All the way up. Just get over there. This is never going to be seen, so I'm just trying to like gap up some of the holes. Word of advice: if this plane is going to be seen somewhere, don't do what I do. I'm just trying to like really cover up some of these edges in the most obscene way that you can actually get away if you're making it for a game, because this isn't a perpendicular or a straight polygon. There's not going to be any bending here, so I can actually get away with making this thing crappy like this. If this face was going to be seen anywhere, I would not be doing the geometry like this. Just to make sure everything is totally unscrewed, I'm just going to make this thing flat. Make sure it's flat like so. Alright, I guess we can work with that. I should have gone and made it local, but whatever. Now turbo smooth. Yeah, this is going to be fine for the edge. It's not going to be seen. All right, so what we're going to do here is I want to get this thing to turn a bit better. So let's try with an FTD modifier or FFD modifier. What the hell is that? Freeform deformer. So move all of these a bit to the back like that. Fine like that. That's okay. On top of it, turbo smooth. Manually move this thing here. Reason somehow this thing got enlarged. Not sure how. Or is it moved too low? I don't know. I'll just go back. Move everything down. Like that. All right, much better. Hey, Ethan Shinoda. Shinoda. Is that the same name that was on the last stream, but you had your name written in Japanese symbols? Hey, what up, Micro? Welcome to the stream. So, no, don't screw that one. Alright, so now what I want to do is select these two. Oh, you dumb. Alright, so I'm a dumbass. This is what I did. I took this thing and I made it turn, but here's the kicker. When you turn on the turbo smooth, it doesn't have the inner lines because me being a dumbass, I made it on the outside. Fuck! Alright. Alright, okay. Let's try and fix this. Let's see if I can actually just... No, I cannot fit this. Jesus. Okay. You're gonna sit here. I guess I'm making another version of this thing. Yeah, just give me a sec. I think for some reason the stream is an option. That's why I do it. Oh well. Here's the thing though. Let me just do a small one and bend it 20 degrees. Somehow I think that when I was playing around with the settings, I changed something for the stream, so I'm guessing there is like a 10 or so seconds delay on what I'm doing and what you guys are seeing. Hence, there's a bit of fuck on my side. I tried to make it faster, but apparently I made it slower. Yeah, it's not that. So let me see if I can just take the FFD. Just the FFD. Oh, no. Really? No. Screw this. I'm gonna leave it like this. I might actually use this one later on. We'll see. But for now, I'm just gonna do this thing one more time. Okay. It's nothing too bad. Just drop another bend. Angle 90. Move the bend. And then minus 90, yeah, that's fine. Okay, it's okay. Actually, guys, give me just 1 second. I'll be back. Oh, actually, you know what? The latency can stay as it is. I don't mind it too much. I'm just gonna be able to like deal with the crap that I do. So I'll see what happens. Whoa, no. Minus 180. That's nice. Do this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just gonna cut up over here. Try to get it right there. See, now it even ended up being better, more or less as we needed. Good stuff. Alright, edit poly. Everything that's out of here. Just remove that thing. Oh, before you do that, just throw it on the time. Delete. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really? 1, 2, 3. Crap, no, it's too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until it turns. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, alright. Not gonna be too hard to fix. That one. Go backspace. U. Let's see if we can move these three as a set flow. Crossing fingers. Shit, no, alright. Manually. I would just average them out, more or less. Wow, this kind of music. Alright. So this time around, what I'm going to do is select this thing. Everything here. Like that. Now rotate it back into position. So it's, whoa, no. Rotate it where it's supposed to be, like so. A little bit more and turn here. All right. Now turbo smooth on top of this. Shortcut for loop, you can just select whichever loop you want. Control L, or was it Alt L? Yeah, Alt L will select the loop. Alt and R will select the ring. Or the easiest thing is just go on the loop, double click on the loop, and it goes all across. Very easy thing to remember. Turbo smooth. Yeah, that's gonna work. All right, so now I want to get one more copy here. Now for this copy, what I want to do is put it so I have the middle here. Oh, there to there. The reason for wanting the middle there is that's the middle point for this thing, and I just want to get to select my half that I want, the half that I don't want. This is the half that I don't want, so select that one, row once, make sure you don't have anything else selected. Otherwise, we're gonna run into problems later. I'm trying to mirror this, so delete. And select everything there is fine. Roll one more time. Delete. Isolate both of these. Turn off the turbo smooth for now. All right, that's good. I want to select these few edges that are protruding more or less, like so. And now select these ones that are going outwards, like so. Attach both of these together, like that. And select that edge, select that one. So both of the borders, I can just go and bridge them together. Now select, let's see if we, oh no, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so just collapse the edges like so. It's gonna be a tedious way of doing it this way, so I cannot go across with the ring and select everything and collapse it, because this I stand corrected. Apparently I can. Alright, so now what I want to do is with the scale, make sure I have edge constraint on, move everything on the Y, move it on the Y and pull it backwards. It's going to be constrained to that form. Pull it this way and get it back. Constrain it like that. And that did jack shit. Alright, so manually. It's going to be a bit of a fixer up, but not too bad. So I'm going to have to fix something in the bottom, so we don't get this pinching here. So move it backwards. Again, this is things that you will never ever see, but for some reason we're doing it. So yeah. Let me just do this one more time, so it's just a bit more to the middle. So. Okay, so now bend, turbo smooth on. Yeah, this can work. Turn off the turbo smooth, put on a symmetry on the Z axis. Turbo smooth on, and isolate. Remove this thing. Now we no longer need this too. I was thinking about using this as a different version for this, but you know what? Nah. Right, delete those. Oh, by the way, somebody asked if I was following something, if I was following some sort of a reference. I'm actually following this one. So now what do I have to do with this? This one is for, oh, this one is really actually not even that hard. It's similar to what we had previously on this side, but it's not even going to be seen for this. So what I can do is again, do my favorite thing and cheat. 90 degrees. Hey Amin. Welcome back. Nice to have you back. Get this thing select. Off symmetry. Mirror it. I don't know, and it's going to be page. Putting one extra edge in here, so it's following up like so. Now, before I turn on the symmetry and turbo smooth, get the pivot over here. Symmetry on the Z again. That's fine. Edit poly. I'm going to squish it into form. I don't want to, I can, if I really don't want to mess with the form, I want to keep it perfect, what I could have done is use an FFD modifier on this thing as well, but in this case, I'm not really sure if that's going to be needed, because again, this thing is going to be seated right next to a wall, so it's not really going to be seen. But I do want to make sure that it's fitting correctly in the front. So I'm going to turbo smooth on, everything is fine. It's fine here as well. Alright, there you go. Okay, now select those buttons, 90 degrees, put them in there. An element. Position. Now we'll see how well these guys are going to hold out. So we had some deformation here. There we go. So we are starting to lose a bit of a form, but so just manually move these. Oh, nope. There's nothing there because that's the connection. And actually, you know what? Pivot only, just put it in the middle, like so. Symmetry modifier on this thing will make it so it's going across everywhere. I don't have to do it on both sides. All right, so we have the seating for our bar, which should be more or less something like this. Later, when we do the unwrapping and we put on some nice textures to it, it's gonna look sweet. All right, so let's continue with modeling the rest of this thing. And by the way, for the music, if I've actually had quite a few people ask me about the music. I cannot use anything that's commercial. So the music that you're listening to at the moment, this is music that YouTube has up for free. So you can actually use this thing while you're streaming or in your videos. So here it is. All of these songs are for free in here. I have a list. And if anybody says something about Winamp being too old or me being too old because I'm using Winamp, I'm not gonna just reply for that one. Winamp is the great, because as Winamp says, it really whoops the llama's ass. All right, so let's see, it's fine. Okay, hide all. Okay, what else as I'm hidden. So this is the bar wall. This is not what I want. I'm going no holders. It's fine. And approach type is what I needed. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, I want to get the bottom here. At the moment, this is still the lower poly version. So let me go and do the prototype. This version is supposed to be just a placeholder, so I can have the layout done. So copy it here. Actually, copy it twice, like so. So now I know exactly how big this thing is supposed to be. And I'm going to select all of these elements for the seating and make them into a group. We call this seating. And the reason for making it into a group of its own, I just move it like that, to about there. And make 2 copies. Okay, so now we have 3 of these seating arrangements for the bar. They're at an elevated location, which is nice. So the thing that I want to do now is just create this piece over here. As you can see, in between these, there's actually a filler. So this is a wooden filler. So that means this entire place over here is not just base, but it has this middle piece in between, and it's filled up around the corners as well. So instead of screwing around with the geometry, let's go ahead and do a bit of cheating again. So what I'm going to do is just put in one plane. In this case, move it just a bit above the Z like that. And remove the segments, edit poly, move it there. And now I'm going to try and manually just create this thing as a cover. There we go. Like that. Cover it up over here. And this is going to be on the back side, so it's really not going to be up front in your eyes, but still it's nice to know that it's covered up. All right. So if I have that as a cover over here, I can affect the pivot again. Now with the symmetry on the y-axis, I should actually get this half to cover it up over there. And that's exactly what I was going for. So edit poly on top of here. select the border, move it downwards so it covers up this thing like so. And before I do anything else, let me just check how this thing, oh yeah, you can actually see this thing. And this is like a natural separator as to how thick this thing is, or how far back these things are supposed to go. So what I'm going to do here is, again, go to the group, open up my group. And I should have made these instances out of this one. So that's actually what I'm going to do right now. So whenever I change something on one, it's going to be translated to everything else. There we go. Rotate around 180. And you can see the box 049 is a name. And this one has box 021. So when I put them together, I just want to make sure that I have the 21 selected when I delete. But if you're not sure which one you have selected, just keep your eye on this thing. If you have the original selected, it's going to be gray. But if you have the actual instance selected, you're going to have this thing that says make unique. There we go. That should help you define which one is the original and which one is the instance. Okay, so we deleted those. So what that did is basically just made it okay for me to select this. And now that I move the back vertices up front, all of them should have that translation done to them. As you can see over here, everything moved up, so everything is right. All right. Which in turn means that I can close this group, and then I can go in and ungroup. All right. So now let's delete. Before I do any more moving, very slightly just move it off there. Same thing on this side. Ever so slightly move it in front. Like that. Okay. I don't really care about this one, but let's just quickly see that thing, but we're never going to see this thing anyway, so it's fine. All right, so now let me just quickly go in and add this might actually have a clipping with the wall, but we'll see when we get there. So quickly, very quickly select all the corner edges. Isolate this to see it better. Okay, apparently I really shouldn't have selected the bottom one because there's no need to jump for that one because it's empty. Jumper 0.5. And then I'm 0.5. for turbo smooth. Yeah, it's an okay cover. As far as covers go, this one is okay. Copies. Like that. Alright, so now make this into a group. Seating. Copy. One more copy over here. All right. Yeah, we can use this one. All right, now open up prototype. Let's see how this thing. What did I make it? Did I make it a copy? Ah, shit. All right, just so we save up a bit on performance. You know that it was right when he said do it as an instance. So make 2 copies. There we go. All right. Okay, so we have the seating. So once we get inside the bar, we have a nice place to sit down. So now, this tells me that this can be a wall here, but it would be better if we actually have windows that we can actually see inside the bar from it. So we can have a mid-wall here and then an open window up there. So let's open up the walls and see how this thing has been made. Some bar walls, all right? So for this one, what I had in mind was, first things first, just get everything at the top. Move it downwards to about there, so the wall can be about that size. And everything above it can actually be some sort of an open window, so you can actually see inwards from it. Yeah, that should work. Also, let's no, not you. You. Do that thing. No. Okay. Just isolate these 2. And now both of them are at the same height. Hey, what up, Jeff? Okay, so we made the seating, which was not that hard. We have a place to sit down, and I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect this thing to look this good, because when you get in, it looks awesome now. It's starting to look like something that I had in mind, but not nearly as, this thing looks better than from the thing that I had in mind. So yeah, that's something. Another thing that I also had in mind was I want to make it so that the outside of the bar is going to have this more metallic decor, and the inside it can be furnished with different setups for walls and different setups for the interior. Now, here's the real question that's kind of bothering me here. I have the walls, but how tall is this thing? So if I take my natural or average guy standing here on this platform, how much more? Oh, hell yeah! This thing has a lot of space. Even up there, it's got like what, another half a meter until it's, oh yeah, 60. Dude, how do you mean it doesn't? Alt and X will make it transparent. But if you went inside customize and you changed the what was it? The no, what the hell? Customize user interface. You might have changed your shortcut. So maybe you're using Alt X for something else. But basically, when you go over here, Alt and X, display a see-through toggle. So just find it here and assign it to Alt X. It should be called, so let's go this. Display a see-through toggle. Just find this thing and assign whatever button you want to it. And just go click assign. That's it. But by default, it's Alt X. All right, so we have the seating. The next thing that I want to do is I want to add in the bar, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to put in some stools over here, but I actually might, because it's a nice thing to have somewhere to like sit. The problem is when you walk into the bar, you really want to be sitting right next to the entrance. I guess you want to. Doesn't matter. All right, so let's make the bar. So for the bar, this is an interesting seating to have for this, but we'll see about that. This is the sort of a window I was thinking about when I was creating this. I want to have one of those a bit tilted windows, you know. And for the bar, I really like this one. It really looks fancy. And I liked the lighting that's above the bar. It has very metallic look. So I'll use something like that. And for the stairs, I'm definitely going to be using something like this, because I like this decor. It's very ship-like. But before I do that, there is another thing that I might want to look into, and that is support. Now, what I mean when I say support, basically when you're creating a house or pretty much any sort of a structure that's going to be created out of these shipping containers, the first thing that you want to look at is the structural stability of the thing. Like how, like for example, these boxes are really well made. So what happens is that when they get stacked one on top of the other, they can withstand very big loads. So you can put tons and tons of weight on them, and they will not buckle down. But their stability comes when they are stacked one on top of each other, like over here. But when you start cutting out the insides, like we have here, we no longer have that stability from the walls. When you start doing that, what you need to do is reinforce those sides with steel. So we need to have some sort of a support steel beams inside our bar. and find a way to get that thing inside our decor. So when I was like looking through images of ships, I actually saw these beams going across. As you can see, we have very large steel beams. So they, in this case, they're even a bit bended. But since this is not a ship, it's a flat structure, it's not gonna have to be bent. So I can actually go ahead and add them around. For example, I can have one of them go across from the start to the end over here. And on top of that thing, I can put some lighting that is going to help light up the place and try and somehow fit that thing inside the decor. So before I go in and start modeling anything more complex that's going to take me more time, I want to quickly go ahead and create some beams. And we can also incorporate those for the exterior as well and add them to the corners and get that sturdy ship look. So for that, I'm actually going to go ahead and look for some steel beams, images, and see how these things are made. Well, looking through this time for steel beams, apparently that's really not complicated. It's a simple shape, and if I'm right, Max actually has a pre-built version of these things. So was it in the compound objects? No, it's in the extended primitives. Was it C extension? No, I'm just not gonna even do this. So instead of doing that way, I'm just gonna do it the proper way, or the easy way, the fast way, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to create one beam like that, rotate it 90 degrees, isolate it, edit poly, and connect with two segments, not slide, but pinch them away from each other like that. Extrude outwards. Chamfer it. Like that. Move this thing way back. Like so. Now let's remove those two. 1, 2, and 3. Connect. There we go. All the way down. And across. Same here. Same thing here as well. Here, so it's back to the corner. There. Oh. There, just get across. Cut above. All the way back. There we go. Symmetry on the Z. For some reason, I think something's flipped my thing because I keep getting Z symmetry on something that's supposed to be the Y symmetry. Whatever. Okay, I got the poly. Select it. Move. Symmetry. There we have that basic look for corner. Okay, support beam. Now just let's define. Alright, so what I'm going to do is select all of these, just like that. Give them one splitting group. Now, and select my angle, so 45, fine. Put everything in one splitting group. Here I get another splitting group. So now when I put a turbo smooth on and put it on splitting groups, I should get a really nice sharp edge there. So another splitting group. Nope. That'll work that way. Yeah, that's fine. We can work with that. Later on we can play around, or if worse comes to worse, I'm just going to champ for the edges and have a really nice result. Alright, so and isolate is fine. So now let's see the size of this thing. Oh, before I do anything else, time to save. Actually, time to save as different version of this thing. So Twitch scene and iteration number 10. Amazing. All right. So we have this, and from what I can see in here, the problem is going to be the fact that this thing is a bit too thin. What's the point of having a support beam that's this thin? So let's go ahead and give it a bit of a thickness. So move it outwards like that. Get in the middle. Just set flow. Nope, do not set flow at all. Just move it like that. Alright, so we have one of these beams. Let's see how tall this thing is. Or better yet, let's actually check the size for the beam, steel beam size. Alright, so it says that the beam size for this thing is in 180 by 19 centimeters tall. So it should have, okay, so it has 19, 23, and 25. And ours is how much? 36. No, that will not work. So let's make it so it's 23. Add 23. God damn it. Alright, it's going to be 23.2, whatever. Let's just push it in a bit. Like that. Okay, go up there. Alright, awesome. So now I have the base for this thing. And since I know that there's going to be quite a bit of steel beams in the scene, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create its new layer for it, steel beams, and call this thing something else than a box. Call it steel beam 1. It's like I've actually said it previously, it's a really good idea to name whatever you're doing. Yeah, Jeff, don't worry. Unwrapping is a bit of a nuisance for everybody, even for seasoned modelers. For some reason, they do not like UV unwrapping. I'm not really opposed to it, but I'm not its biggest fan either. So with me, it's a hit and miss. You have to tell me number 2. You can actually put this thing to the side like that. When it comes down to UVW unwrapping, I've actually had in mind to make a more in-depth tutorial about it, but I just haven't had the time for it. Lately, I've been out of time for pretty much anything out of like work. All right, there we go. It's fine. Okay, that's all right. So we have that one beam over there. Somewhere around here, I'm probably gonna end up having one more of these beams going across, maybe something like over here. If we do have any engineers in the stream, and this is more your field, feel free and just tell me if I'm doing anything wrong here, or how this thing would be done properly. Because I'm pretty sure somewhere down the road, I'm doing something very wrong, and if this thing was an actual building, it would collapse due to something. But at the moment, I'm just going and creating it as I see logically fit. So that looks right. So logic dictates that somewhere around here there should be one more of these wooden beams going down and giving it support for the entire second floor. That's fine. Actually, we can give it a Yeah, see, Jeff, that's the thing. I can get away with doing a lot of the things that I do with using just displacements. But the thing is, when you are actually going, let's say you are applying for a project, or you are trying to get a place to work, and they ask you to model something, and you tell them that you can just use displacement instead of modeling that thing. What they're going to do is tell you to go do something to yourself, and then they're going to ban you from going inside that building ever again. So hence, here I am just doing all the things that you can do and get away with a simple displacement map. Here I am doing it with modeling. Just so if somebody else sees this and he needs to create something similar, he's going to know how to do it. Alright, so the pillars are fine there. But yeah, I'm gonna need some pillars in here to hold this thing up. That's a good thing. But so far, those two can stay up there. Now let's see about the pillars. So, steel pillars. Well, there's a lot of these there. Yes. All right, so apparently, if you take a look at this thing, these pillars are the same shape as this thing, but they're just turned sideways and they have a different connection type. Interesting. So the funny thing about this is that if you take just like we have this thing on the outside, all I have to do is basically turn this thing sideways like that. So now when this thing gets to it, there can be a third connection coupling here. So basically that connection coupling is going to be welded to this beam, and this beam is going to go inside that connection coupling, and that thing is going to work just well. All right, that's actually really good. And the great thing about this is that you can make these in a manner which is going to be easy to reproduce. So you can just have like a few simple elements, and then you can just copy them around. But like Waleed said, this thing is going to have to be a bit thicker. So this is actually going to hold the weight of the entire thing. See, Renato, this is the thing. When you're trying to focus on making things with really that look pretty, the most important things is to add in the small details, because you can have the prettiest image around and everything is gonna look fake. Your eye is really gonna pick up on the small things. Like if you actually seen a structure like this somewhere, your eye in the back of your mind basically has set it up that if it's real, it has to have those bolts, it has to have everything. But you really, really, really want to keep it logical. Pretty is a plus, but pretty comes back from doing everything in the artsy way, so to speak. Basically, you want to make it so that the colors match, the composition matches, how you're gonna place your things in the scene. But in order for it to look realistic, you really want to keep an eye on these small details. And that is why I'm not trying to follow a pre-made look for this thing, but try to make it as I go. Because honestly, I did not think about adding up these chairs here, or these stools. I don't even know what sort of tables I'm gonna put in here. Hell, when we started this, in the very first stream, the first thing that I was asking or trying to figure out was I gonna make an 8-pillar house like this, which would have been a hell of a lot faster thing to do, or go into and try to make something like a shipping container house, again, which is a lot smaller, a lot easier to create. But somewhere down the road, somebody mentioned something about let's make this thing bigger and let's make it into something more unique, hence the bar idea. So here we are making a bar. So like I said, when we started, this thing started off as a idea to make it something very small, and it kind of shifted into something bigger, then it shifted into something even bigger, and it shifted into a bar. So as you can see, this is not something that I had in mind from the start. So we are creating it as we go. And that is why I wanted to have more of the people that are following me come in and join the streams. You leave your ideas, you leave your feedback, and I go from it, and we start from somewhere. There we go. Okay, next thing, we have those two. Later on, when we start to detail the things, We're gonna be moving these things around a bit more. We're gonna be adding them on the second floor. But so far, the good thing is that we actually have them in the scene. Now, next thing. What do I want to do next? All right, so I know for a fact that the stairs are gonna have to be something different because this, well, actually, let's see how big is this. So if you're 190, you go in here, you go all the way up to here. Oh yeah, this is actually plenty of space. It can be like that. This doesn't have to start from here, but if it does start from here, it's gonna have to turn and go up all the way up here. All right, I'll deal with the stairs later. Okay, let's just finish up this place over here. And for that place, what I'm gonna do is put back my bar walls like that. And I know for a fact that here is where this wall is gonna end. So behind this place, just adding one separator there. Select that one, move it behind there. And as I said, bear in mind that the place between where the outer wall is, or this metallic wall is, and the inner wall is actually going to have another piece. There we go. So that's going to be fine. It's not going to be an issue, even though it kind of looks like it's clipped here. All right, so let's make a frame for the window first. So let's select both of these. Zoom up. For the frame, I'm going to go from there upward. All right, so let's put it on default. Nope, not the default one. Yeah, it's here. So now plane from there to there. Let's check it out. Edit frame is fine. Edit poly, flip it around, because whenever it's flipped, it's going to be dark. You can see the color. It's the right face. Now, for this one, before I do anything else, let me see how many windows should I add here. So what I want to do is 1, 2 divisions here. So go and select those two edges, connect 1, 2. And so with those two divisions, I'll move them around like that now. You know what? We're gonna make it 3 like that. Okay, so select those 3, inset by polygon. Yeah, Jeff, Big CGI is my own site. Even though it looks like crap. I made it like 3 years ago. I've always been on the fritz about doing the redesign of the thing. At a certain point, I came to the realization that I am going to do it. Then I started doing it, and then I started working on a different project, and here I am. Still haven't done it. All right, so here we go. Oh, by the way, the Realism UV that you're mentioning, that's basically the U version of Unfold 3D. Why I made the site? poly unwrapper is an okay unwrapper, but meh. I'm not really happy with that one. This is annoying to living shit. There. Should just select all the borders. Ah, god damn it. Fine. Alright, so jumper. Fine. That's 0.5. Ah, no. No. Okay, we're not going to be doing that then. If we're not doing that, we're doing this. And it's the same goddamn thing. No. Well then, screw it. I'm not doing that way. I'll deal with that one. Now, once I have that, the next thing that I want to add is the actual frame for the windows. Now, for the window, the thing that I was going for was something like, ooh, see, these are nice open windows. This is what I had in mind. So something that's gonna be a bit angled. So the way that this thing can be done is, oh, what the hell just happened? Everything went down. All right. There's no need. If I want to just make the things faster, I can just, instead of doing this thing to go up, I can just put it over to go across, like that. So cut across. Now cut above. Now remove those, and now the edge flow is gonna be right, so I can do it that way. Now that's the thing though, this is just the frame. I don't actually have to make it with detailed profiles, because if you take a look at the image here, it really doesn't have that much detail. So it only has this white portion, which is actually not going to be seen because the windows actually have their gray corners. So they're going to be covering up that thing. I just want to have this thing as a bit of a slope. So in order to get that slope, what I can do is, damn it, fine. I was showing you how to do that, and I basically cut it up, whatever. Select that one. Now, in order to get the slope, you move it like that, or select the top now. Move it inwards, like that. And in here, and in here. Ring connect. One connection, get it done like that. Now make a spline selection out of that thing, make it a linear one. So now select the line, edit poly, and we get those windows. And they're gonna have that nice slope in there. Just flip, or not flip, oh, this is a window, just give it a shell. But a very, very small one, 0.2. 0.5. Yeah, this is better. I just need to make sure that this thing does not protrude all this much. Go back to about there. There we go. Okay, give it a very, very light color. This thing can have a darker color, just so it's a different thing. Make it see-through. All right, we have seating over here, which is gonna. This is actually starting to look nice. You take a look at it from the inside. I like this one. All right, so now select one of these edges. Just 90. I want to retain that same exact angle, and just so I don't have to redo it again, the whole thing. Delete that thing, like so. Go in there, cap, connect, so. Center to object, there we go. Here, trying to not to go too far from there. There we go. Move this thing to the inside. There we go. And the great thing about having this inner edge that we added in is that I can use that same edge to create another shape, and out of that shape, again, I can just put an edit poly, put a shell, and we get the same exact look as we have here. So give it a very light gray material. No, very, very light gray material. There we go. All right, so with this thing, we have our windows for our. God damn it, what the hell? Why is this thing blue? Give me a sec, I gotta just select all of these blue sides and just give it the same proper color. There we go, now everything else is. Alright, there we go. This thing needs to go out a bit more, so it covers up that hole. Or no, that thing is fine, but this thing needs to go in more. Like that. Okay, better. Yeah, Jeff. It's the beard, man. I had a much longer beard, but about I think it was about a month and a half ago, I had one shitty day, and I got so annoyed at something that was not even my beard, and in the frustration, I ended up shaving my beard, and then I regretted it a lot. So here I am, regrowing my beard. Hmm. There we go. Okay, I'm happy with how this thing turned out for the bar. Wait a second. No, this is not bar walls. This is gonna be a different one. It's gonna be called windows and doors. Another thing, when you're working on a bigger scene, you really want to do two things. First thing that I'm still not doing for some reason is naming everything right, because you really do not want to have shapes and planes and boxes and other crap around. You just want to have proper names to everything that you're doing. For example, if you take a look at the walls, we in the previous stream we went in, selected everything, and renamed it. So now for a fact that everything in here is bar walls. Okay, turn the thing off. You can see everything right. And this thing is in here as well. This thing is going to be bar and tables. See, this is hell. You do not want to have this. You don't want to have box numbers and buttons. Whatever. Just select everything. Just hide this thing. It's fine. This thing, table. And the bypass, the holders. Yeah, well, the stream started off. This is the second stream that I'm doing. Plus, getting people to watch your videos and tutorials is one thing, but actually trying to find people that are not working, or they are free, or they're at home, that's what happens. Live streams are always different. Like you can take Grunt Warwick for example, if you want. He's got 25 or 30,000 paying subscribers. His streams barely go above 100 people that are active. And on his streams, there are people that are paying $200 just to be on. Not on, but they're paying $200 to follow his tutorials. So live streaming is a different beast. But again, it's not a lot of people are following live streams. You know, people tend to go and look for 3D modeling or 3D videos when they are in a problem of a sort. So they're trying to like fix it. They're looking for an answer. Anyways, all right. So we got this thing. I'm gonna save again. All right. Here's another thing that I actually. It's a good thing that you reminded me of. But here's another thing that I want to do. I'm gonna take one list here, and in this list, I want to write down names of either websites or people that you're following on YouTube that they're doing really good tutorials about 3D. It doesn't really matter what sort of topic it is, just tell me. I want to make a list. I'm going to put it up on the website as well. And as soon as I finally get some time and some money to pay a certain guy that I know to redesign the website, I want to put a list over there for people when they come over there. They're going to have a list of people who they want to follow and where they can find some great sources for 3D knowledge. So I'm actually going to be doing this at the start of every stream and ask whoever is watching to pitch in their ideas or whoever they found. So far, let's start off with the guys that I've named. I'm going to go with Grant Warwick. This guy is an amazing artist when it gets down to working with V-Ray. So I'm gonna do it like this. So put it in one Warwick and 3ds Max. I'm gonna put in the Aramus 3D. So drop down any names about any software. It can be anything that you guys like. So I want to see what you guys are following, who you are following, and who do you say that it's really good. Just leave a link in the chat, you know? Doesn't matter how good they are, but it actually does matter. If somebody's creating crap content or something that's not good, don't leave it. Because there's one thing worse than not knowing something, and that is learning from a wrong source. Because once you learn how to do something wrong, it's really hard to make people go back to doing it something very right. Well, that's sad, man. There is a lot of great guys around there. Oh yeah, another thing. Do leave a link to people that are doing tutorials in different languages as well. So if it's something in Spanish or Russian or whatever, just leave a link. I will put it in there, and I'm gonna annote it so people know that it's in a different language. So for this one, I'm gonna actually go ahead and check something else. What was his name? God damn it, I keep forgetting this thing. It's annoying me. Viscorbell. Alright, so it's so for the 3ds Max, it's gonna be Viscorbell. This is basically Austris Singulis. I think that was his real name. He was making amazing tutorials about 3ds Max as well as V-Ray, but they're old now. Whatever. So this is up for you guys. Leave a link to somebody that you like and it is doing really good tutorials, and I will link it on my website. I will put it on the Facebook group, and in time hopefully we get different people joining in and they can pitch in some more. Yeah, man. Well, it's really coming to to a point where it's really hard to find new people that are making 3D content. There are some that I know that are making premium, I'm gonna say premium tutorials. They're charging money for it, but they're crap. I'm not gonna name any names because that would be shitty of me, but it's no good. See, somebody said Artem. Okay, I'm gonna name. I do not know his real name. I think that's a guy that's doing a lot of really good modeling, but generally it's for furniture, and he's really heavy into doing complicated stuff inside a marvelous designer. So I really like it. So thanks for noting that thing. I know there was another guy that was Spanish speaking, but what was his name? I don't remember. Anyways, I'm gonna go through my library, see what the guys are that I'm actually really fond of. And in the next stream, that's the first thing I'm gonna share, and as well ask you guys which people that you're following, or which are the people that you like. All right, so for now, I'm gonna close this thing and call this a list. Okay. Anyways, we have this side of the bar pretty much handled. Just select this and make it so it's gray. This is a personal preference for me. Whenever I'm making something and modeling it, just so I know that I've done something on that thing, I make it gray. There you go. And everything that's color, it means that it needs to be worked on. For example, all of these tables, even though they're gray, I should probably make them something like much. Oh hell! Select everything. Make it green like that. There we go. Now I know that I have to work on those. All right. That's fine. Turn on the windows and doors. All right, starting to look like something. Anyways, we still have like 10 or so minutes, but I don't want to start on doing anything because I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do anything in about 10 minutes. So I would like to thank everybody that was on the stream today. Again, it was really fun having everybody around. I would like to thank everybody for sharing their ideas, especially now at the end, that for everybody that's sharing people that are doing 3D content. Much appreciated, and I'm pretty sure that the rest of the community is going to appreciate it if we manage to make a list of people that are making some great content. Just make sure that you mention it in the links. If first of all, if which is the language that they are speaking. Second, if they're making free tutorial or they're making premium tutorial. And the third one would be which software they're using. And yes, I see somebody in the chat just left Artem Gogolov's name. That's the guy. He is doing some amazing stuff as well. I'm gonna put a link to his channel, so go ahead and check him out. He's got some great modeling techniques. They are advanced. So his videos, if you're gonna be following along, they are really advanced to expert level. So if you want to follow along with his videos, you're gonna have to really know the software because he doesn't go ahead and explain anything. If nothing, all of his free videos are speed modeling videos, and all of his long videos, or like 5 or 6 or 7 hours sessions that he does. I think he's got a premium access on another server, or not a server, but another service. I think it was Vimeo or something like that. So you can actually pay like $10 or $20 per month, and you have access to the whole lot, like very, very step by step. So each model that you see there that he's doing in about 10 minutes, it takes about 6 to 7 hours. All right, so I can see people are actually starting to share some names. So I'm going to copy that. So this is Eloy Andalus Fula. All right, I'm gonna check those guys. So Wizix, Maya Mix, concept artist. That's fine. And yeah, I'm gonna be ending because we're already at 1 hour 55 minutes, and I don't want to go over 2 hours. Plus, I got something else to do. But in any case, it was fun. So next time we continue, I want to address more things about the interior, make sure that we have the bar, and then we're gonna have to do something about the second floor. And then next thing I think it's gonna be that we're gonna start making some accents for the interior and making some other things. Jeff, I not at the moment. I have two, and I previously had three. One of them died, hence I had the screw up. So now I have two. Once this one, the one on the left side came in, now I have two. So yeah, that's about it for today. Again, I would like to thank everybody that was here. It was fun for me, and it's always a pleasure having you guys around. And hopefully next time it's gonna be fun as it was this time for me, and hopefully for you guys, and you managed to learn something here. And that would be all for today. So next stream is probably gonna be on Tuesday, or I'm gonna say I might actually do a third stream this week on Saturday, but I'm not promising anything because I have a certain thing that I'm gonna do on Friday night, which will mean that I might be out until early in the morning, and when I come back and I wake up the next day, my head might ring. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be on Saturday, but we'll see. You never know. I'm sorry, Benke, man. Every time you hop on, I quit. I'm sorry. Generally, I'm not a quitter, but I've been going off for about 2 hours. So the stream will be up on YouTube. As from what I've seen, YouTube does take the stream and uploads it automatically, which is kind of nice. I don't have to do it by myself. Anyways, I would like to say for the third time, thank you, everybody. You're great, and see you next time when we do our next stream. And I really hope I see you all. All right, bye-bye.